to Cradle to Campus, your one-stop shop for all things family. And on this segment, we get to interact with the teens, campus, and young adults. My name is Kingsley Care, for those who do not know me. Welcome to the show.
Hello, so good to be here once again. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Esther, and today we are so excited to be hosting our very first guest on this segment. And I will let them introduce themselves, but they are very good friends of ours, and it's just been an amazing time building a friendship with them. And I will introduce them more as we continue. But yeah, I'll let my sister here go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi guys, so my name is Faith Achim Obila. I'm from Kenya. So I'm currently doing my own catering company. I did food and beverage production back in college, and now I'm trying to, I started my own small business, so that is what I do.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right. Hi everyone, my name is Ben. Benjamin in full, but I feel like just counting at me if you call me Benjamin, so Ben is good. I'm from the DRC, but I live in South Africa. I am a software developer and web developer by training, but I do enjoy venturing into photography, video editing, and videography. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this segment and being able to share whatever is brought up with you.
Okay, thank you so much for introducing. So maybe I forgot to mention, but Ben and Faith are dating. And you know, it's good to have lovebirds on the table. Clearly you can see their matching t-shirts. I can't wait to hear about that. But first I'd like us to play a little game with them. And it's who is most likely to. So I'll ask them to close their eyes.
Yeah.
And
No cheating,
whatever
no peeping.
answer they'd like to give. So if Faith, you think you're most likely to do that thing, you can point to yourself, same to Ben. But if you think it's Ben, you can point across to him. So let's do this. Eyes closed. So for my first question, who is most likely to forget an anniversary?
Okay.
Who is most likely to cook a romantic dinner? Who is most likely to buy a gift that the other person hates? Who is most likely to get jealous over something silly? Come on, Faith. Who is most likely to forget a birthday?
Well,
And maybe lastly, who is most likely to win every argument? Wow, thank you so much for playing with us, Faith and Benji. That was interesting. I know you don't know what you guys picked, so you have to wait until the video is out so that you can be able to see that.
Wow.
Yeah.
But thank you. I think without further ado, we'll just dive right into our conversation today.
How do you even select your friends?
Like I said, I don't intentionally make a conscious decision, okay, I want to be friends with that person.
wow. It plays a very different role. So like
your network is your net worth.
You know, as you mentioned, Faith and Ben are dating, and before dating, what precedes that? And it's friendship. And a big question on friendship is, how do you even select your friends? Like, at what point do you decide, yes, I have a best friend, I have a good friend, and I have an acquaintance? I think that is such an interesting and intriguing question. Yeah.
Yeah, so do you wanna maybe tell us for you before we give our guests
So I think for me, growing up, I've not really had a best friend, quote unquote, and I think it's because I've always had so many people around me who I call friends, and yeah, transitioning into campus, and then realizing that everyone has gone to different places, different campuses, and then those people are no longer there, and it just becomes interesting to try and select your good friends, because you get to meet a lot of people, and yeah, most of them are acquaintances, and still trying to figure out the best friend part. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Kingsley. Over to you, Benedict. Wants to go.
All right. That's a very interesting question, in the sense that I don't intentionally think hard about how I'm gonna pick my friends. I think for the most part, it just happens. But the way it happens, I think it happens randomly but systematically, in the sense that, like I said, I don't intentionally make a conscious decision, okay, I want to be friends with that person, I want to be friends with that person. But what happened is that we are drawn to one another, in the sense of the interest that we may have, in the sense of the kind of things that we enjoy doing, our hobbies, in the sense of how vulnerable we get on the first day that we meet. Because there are some people that are just met maybe at a discussion or something, and they just poured out their heart so much, and just like, man, I want to learn from this person on how to be so vulnerable, and then that's where the friendship would have started. Sometimes it can just happen because of the fact that you're always in the same proximity. But in all of that, I think one thing, because it's one thing to make friends, it's another thing to keep friends. And I think one thing that helps maintain the friendship is really how much time you spend together and how real you are with one another. And also being able to discover one another's interests, and being humble enough to want to learn new things. But also being open enough to share what you enjoy. I mean, a friendship is a two-way road. You can't. A friendship is not a situation whereby only one person does all of the interaction. Even in business, it doesn't work like that. So there needs to be intentionality. There needs to be mutual respect. That's very important. And there needs to be a certain desire to see each other grow. Helping one another to reach a certain point in their life, helping one another to be better versions of themselves, and do that without judgment, do that without prejudice, and only with the only intention to be caring for the next person. In a short sentence, it's quite long. I think that's what I'll say.
Thank you, Benji.
Oh, well, for me, how I have my friends, like Kingsley, right now I don't think I'd put someone as a best friend. I feel like every person I have as a friend plays a well, I lost my thoughts.
It's okay, I'm sorry.
I didn't play some, okay. Sorry.
Aside from them.
Aside from them, as the best friend, because I feel like every person in my life plays a very different role. So like, there's this, for instance, I have, can I mention names? Okay, I have different friends who we do so many, we do different things. There's one who can help me with, who holds me accountable, and she's really good at that. There's one that pushes me to do something, you know. It's like, oh, we have this idea and we'll go through with it. With her, I know I can do it and I'll make it, you know. So I have someone else who will be my prayer partner, and we connect in different ways. Others, yeah, it's just a lot, but I can't really place someone as a best friend. And also, like Ben said, it's a two-way thing.
Yeah.
So how close I am to someone is the communication we have.
Yeah.
They could be here in Kenya or outside Kenya, but the communication, the constant communication keeps us going, and I know what's going on in your life, and she knows what's going on in my life, and that keeps us together, and the friendship. So I think that's the depth of it. So some are friends, some are, you know, they're the ones that we talk really deep stuff with, and yeah.
Wow, thank you for that. I think if I can add to that, I like how you say different friends for different, I would say, different friends for different seasons. There's people who've been in our lives, like you can have childhood friends who you've grown up with, maybe you've lived in the same location, you've gone to the same school, so somehow you find yourself gravitating towards them. But then sometimes if you look closer, you find that you probably don't even have that much in common. And it's okay to realize that even as we grow up. I think if I think of the friends I had when I was a teenager, I've kept some of those friendships, but not all of them, because you grow and the more you learn yourself, the more you learn what you want, what you're looking for in a person, in a friendship. So I would say that it's okay to be choosy with your friends, with who you have in your life. It's okay to have your small inner circle of people who hold you accountable, people who, like you said, you pray with. It's fine, you don't have to have a long list of friends. Yeah, you can have your small circle and then you have different friends for different things. I think that's what I appreciate about friendships. And you don't have to compare. The relationship you have with one person can't be the same one with the next person. So yeah, it's fine. And no pressure if you're seeing this. I think with time you just get to learn these things as you go. You get to learn what you want, you get to be more choosy. I think growing now, getting into being an adult is when now I've kind of learned these things. But before it's like, oh, my girlfriends, you know, we're having fun, my group of friends, you have those two cliques. But yeah, with time you find that they evolve even as you evolve. So thank you so much for your sharing.
In regards to friendship, because one thing I realized also, once we have a group of friends, it's easy to concentrate on those friends. You know, it's me and my girlfriend. And even if we're in a crowd of people doing something, it's me and my girlfriend. So as much as we have that inner circle, and it's okay if you're just you guys, okay, you guys can have your space. But if you're around other people, make them feel at home, make them feel like they can be your friends, you know, because you never know. I think for me, the guys that I have right now on my top list chat, it's not guys that I thought I would want to, or even thought I needed them. But throughout the conversation we've had, and it takes one conversation to just realize, oh wow, we share things in common. It doesn't mean you'll leave your circle of friends and, you know, go with the other person. So just making other feel at home, they can really relate to you, they can come to you, be approachable as much as you have your inner circle.
Right.
I love that. I think it reminds me of something that we've been talking about for so long. And that's what you're about to say.
Yeah.
Like your network is your net worth. I like how you mentioned that as much as we are choosy with the people we allow in our circles, which is good also for, you know, your mental health, who you keep up with. You can't tell everyone everything. But it's also important to remember that you can't disregard, you know, anyone. That you don't know how close you guys will turn out to be, how you can be of benefit to each other in the future. So I thought just to mention that as to add on what Faith was saying.
And to get people who are real with you, people who are able to motivate you.
Do I have people that I can have to keep me accountable?
Yeah, and I think a big part of friendship is also allowing yourself not to just be drowned by the crowd, but also because you can be in the crowd and also not have your own identity. So you're also trying to please different people and try to get their attention, and, you know, instead of people gravitating towards you or you gravitating towards them, you're trying to portray something that you think the other person would like more. And I think most people get into friendships and then they realize, oh, it's actually not authentic. And I think trying to get people who are real with you, people who are able to motivate you, all depends on you as well. Yes, you have to get yourself to that point where you're able to have your own persona and not allowing someone else to change how you're viewing that.
Right.
It goes down to self-identity.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we talk about that for a second? Like, how do you sort of draw the line. Maybe it goes hand in hand with what I wanted us to talk about next, boundaries in friendship. But also, how do you stay your very authentic self, but still, I don't know, like how you put it, be able to still welcome other people into your space without them having to so much change who you are or changing your values. I feel like that happens a lot in the space, like between teenagehood, campus. You find yourself a lot going with the crowd, and by the time you realize, you're like, no, that's not me, I don't like that, I don't even like to go out, but I do it because my friends do it. So how do you toe the line? How do you strike that balance?
It's a very difficult task to do, and again, it requires a lot of intentionality. But if you want to get there, you really need to be honest with yourself in terms of what you want for yourself in your life. If you know that you want to be somebody who wants to be respected for what you do, and you have certain values that you don't want to be broken, in your first interaction with people, you will be able to tell that the way I interacted with X, I can already tell that X doesn't share the same values that I do. So from there, it should be somewhat of a warning sign, or rather something to be conscious of. That yes, there may be a lot of things, I can have a lot of fun with X, but for what I stand for, if I carry on with this relationship with X, I may end up swaying. And I think another thing that is very important, and I think this concept is just coming to my mind, and it's from the Bible, and I think somewhere in the Bible it says, be careful when you think that you are strong, because that's when you will fall. And that is something that is very important to remember, that sometimes you will think that, no, I can handle it, I've got this. The moment you start telling yourself such things, consider that to be a warning point, where you're just like, whoa, okay, am I really able to do this? Do I have people that I can have to keep me accountable? Yeah, so be true to yourself, and as you go out there, really make sure that you speak up about your values, because then other people will hear your values, and if they have the same interests or the same values, it will be brought up somewhere in the conversation. And that way you will be able to hear and to gauge where you should invest your time in, because friendship requires time, and time is a resource that you cannot get back. So you've got to value your time, you've got to value your friendships, you've got to value yourself. Yeah.
I think, Faith, before you answer, I would like to give it a different perspective, even on like female friendships. I know females are very big, we're very big on friendship, relationships, our talks, those kind of things. So how do you think that plays in, like, even personally for you now in your life, in terms of your identity, not losing who you are, but still being able to open up to people, and also drawing that boundary kind of thing? Make sense?
Ooh.
Yeah, let's get in there.
Ish. As women, or ladies,
Yeah.
Well, for me, I would say, when you're in that friendship, yes, you have your values and all that, but do you feel at the end of the day, when you hang out with those friends of yours, when you go back home, are you happy? Are you frustrated? What's going on in your head? You know? Because if you're there because of maybe the group of friends you have is famous, or they're the cool kids, when you go back home, you'll be frustrated, trust me. You're not happy. Are you happy with those kind of friends? Do they bring out the best in you? I think it just goes all around. Because, just value, sit down, talk to yourself, be real, like Ben just said. Be real with yourself. Am I happy in this group? Do they add value to me? Do they push me to be the best the best version of me? And I don't know how to answer your question when it regards to us, me as a woman, let me just say that. I'm quite different, because if I'm not happy there, I'll just go, you'll not see me. If I don't feel okay, I'll speak it up, and you guys will not see me. I I can't be where I don't feel I'm happy or I feel frustrated. It does, that for me wouldn't work. And I feel over the years that has helped me, and not going with the peer pressure. I want to be in that group because I enjoy my own self. My own self company. So if I want to be in that group, it's because I've chosen to be in that group. Well, growing up, my dad is he is a counselor, and I feel like he gave me the confidence I have right now from a very young age, and self-aware kind of thing. And I don't think growing up I needed to be in a group of people to feel approved. Both my dad and I'm mentioning dad because it's a big thing with females. He used to tell me how beautiful I am. I remember him calling me my black beauty girl. You're the only black beauty. Have you ever heard of any brown beauty? I'm like, no. So and I think as parents, well, I don't know if they'll be watching this, they need to really help, or even as dad, even a mom, you need to just tell your girl how beautiful they are, and so that when they grow, they have that confidence. So for me, I wouldn't say I needed, the peer pressure wasn't really a thing for me.
Wow.
So yeah, I was where I wanted to be because I chose to be there.
Wow, self-value. I just realized that really plays a big role. It determines who you allow into your life and who you choose to share your time with.
How did you guys
First of all,
meet?
let's just stop there. We want all the tea.
Walk away, and I started running away from even the friendship.
I had to be okay with my heart because he was coming for camp and he would interact with other sisters.
Wow. So I think friendship is very wide, and we can't actually go into all the details. I think we all have stories of who did what, when, where, and these things are real. And friendships can turn you inside out, inside in, and having a self-value, you're able to still remain the same person regardless. And I think now tying it into finally having a relationship. So how do you, because you just don't meet and you're like, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend.
First of all,
how did you guys
First of all,
meet?
let's just stop there. We want all the tea. You're gonna hear it first here at Cradle to Campus.
Yeah, that's right.
Please go for it.
Well, I like when you started. We have two versions.
Yes,
That's what we're here for it.
There's always two sides of
We're
the
here
story.
for it.
And if you start, then it just blends in.
Okay.
Alright.
Then.
Here we go. I met Faith December 2018. She came over to South Africa to serve at a youth camp. And when I met her, I didn't get to interact much with her during the youth camp, but I knew that I had a crush on her. And so, obviously, camp happened. We were focusing on our tasks and duties, and then she went back, but we exchanged numbers, and she actually texted me first because she needed, my duty during the camp was to take pictures, and she wanted to receive her pictures. And as much as I had a crush on her, part of the reason why I hadn't reached out was because I thought to myself, she's in Kenya. You're here. Long distance is not something you're trying to play with. So just stay away, do nothing, move on with your life, it's gonna phase away. And so that happened, she texted, we sent her the picture, but then we started talking, like people do. And we started building a friendship, and as time went by, I think I started realizing the danger that I was putting myself in, conversing so much with her, and I was just like, you know you don't want to be in a long distance relationship, so just walk away, nothing happened, walk away, and I started running away from even the friendship. And she has a strong character, she's a very strong woman, and she's very confident, so she noticed that I was running away, and she was like, hey, you're running away from the friendship.
Wow.
What's up? Let's talk. And so I came up with excuses, and I was really not, I was trying to do everything. I even started having interest elsewhere. But she put me back to the friendship, and I was just like, okay, cool, let's just build a friendship. It's not gonna hurt anybody. It's just a friendship. And before we got to that stage, I had told her when I was still at the crash and I wanted to see her again. I was like, I want to come to the youth camp in Kenya, just for the sake of it. And as I was running away, I was starting to doubt the idea. I was like, nah, it's not worth it. I don't want to put myself in a tricky situation. Left it all out. Like I said, I was looking elsewhere. And then she reached out, we continued the friendship, very platonic, just two friends chatting here and there. And then time went by, and eventually I came down here, well, up here in Kenya for camp. And to be frank, I think seeing her on the first day that I arrived, we had a meeting planning for what was about to happen for that weekend. For the weekend before the camp, there was an event called Kablam. And I think seeing her and seeing her brought back a lot to the sense that I was just like, okay, this just happened. What's the story here? What's gonna happen here? And it was a lot of battle for that 1 week that I was here. I was battling with myself in my mind. I was trying to figure things out for myself. And during the time that I was here, it became very evident that it was something that I couldn't run away from, that I just had to pick up my cross and carry it daily. So that's how it happened, and the rest is history, I guess, because here we are.
Oh, so sweet. Do you want to add something?
Oh, I have a lot to add.
You can tell us your point of view.
We met in 2018 December. And he had a crush on me, had no idea I was crushing on someone else.
Alright.
Yeah, it's funny because he had a crush on me. We never like had even a conversation. He used to take pictures. I used to call him to take pictures, and that was it. And funny thing is, he had a crush on me, but when he the last day, he didn't even say goodbye. I know.
Like I told you, I wasn't trying to play with Kenya.
Long distance is not on my mind.
He just passed me and he went, Anyway, so I had left my phone in Kenya, so coming back, I took his number from the group, and I texted him because I needed the pictures. Yeah, and that's how we started talking. It was so easy because the communication was just flowing. We were just talking about random things. And I was the guy I had a crush on. Also, I took the number from the group. I was trying to have a just get to know the guy. But on this side, things are not really as smooth as the other side. So he kept the conversation going. Right. And I think during the conversation, that's why I started liking him. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I didn't even spend time with this guy. I wish I had. But I think 3 months down the line, he stopped texting me. I think, and I was so confused because now I had started liking him and now he's not responding to my text messages. And I was like, okay, let me just give him time. And then I think one day I was just spending time with my class and I shared and I was like, just call him. And he didn't pick up my call. He was online. He was running away, like really. But after that, I think a few minutes after the call, we chatted a bit, and he was sorry. The excuse he gave me was so lame. But we asked him. He was like, I'm not good in texting. SMS, this thing. I'm also working. I'm like, you're working even in January. What's on this? But that's how. I was like, okay, Faith, you're in this alone. You like this guy alone. Because all along, I didn't see any sign. Maybe he was shooting his shot, but I didn't see anything. So I was like, I need to be okay because I knew he was coming for camp. I had a journal, guys. I was writing my prayers to be okay. I don't know how I got to that point of liking him. So I had to be okay with my heart because he was coming for camp and he would interact with other sisters. So I had to be really, really okay. And like you said, the first time we met, like everything came back. I don't know what was everything. The conversation came back on the first day we met. I went back so confused. I went back home so confused. I'm like, so what's going on? Yeah, but yeah, that's. I think from there our story is in line. And the rest is history.
Beautiful. How long have you guys been dating?
4 months and 2 days.
2 days.
So wow. You made it 4 months
And 2 days.
And how many hours?
And 12 hours?
No, 21 hours.
And how did you pull that off then? I know we're in COVID. How did you pull that
Let me tell
off?
you the stress of my life. Oh my goodness. So, I'm a planner and I like surprises. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. And so, again, I was here for the camp in August 2019, and then December 2019 to January 2020, she was in SA. We served again for youth camp in Mozambique, then in SA. So we got considerable amount of time together, and every day, actually the first day that she got to SA, no, the second day, there was an event that we had organized with a couple of friends called the Night of Worship, where we just got together and were just singing songs of worship and all vibes. And that night I went back home and I was just like, I was sitting with one of my very good friends, I'm just like, yeah, no, it's a done deal. I know I want to ask her out. And in my head I was thinking I wanted to come and do it here in Kenya.
Right.
But that night, that was so full of emotion that I was just like, I know I said I want to do it in Kenya, not in SA, but we're going to Mozambique tomorrow. I might as well do it there, it's neutral ground. But self-control, and my friend also was a bit like, no, relax, you've got this. Okay. We went to Mozambique and it was good times, and then she came back. And the day that I dropped her off at the airport, it was the 15th of January 2020. That day, prior to that date, I was already planning that I was going to come here in Kenya at the end of January to ask her out. Surprise her for her birthday and be like, hi, surprise, I'm here, also living my girlfriend. I had the whole idea in my head, and that was my plan. But on that day, I thought to myself, you know what, we just come from 6 weeks of being together, and this is going to be a long distance relationship. So we need to find a way to cool down the emotions and just make sure that this is something that I really want to pursue. So I was like, you know what, I'll do it in April. So like I said, that was January, and then February happened. COVID was at its peak. South Africa got a lockdown, borders are closed, and like, it's sad. Okay, hopefully and prayerfully it's gonna open up. March happened, April happened. I'm just like, wow. Now I'm starting to think about alternatives, and I'm just like, why not do it online? But at that point in time, I was very divided because I knew that yes, it's possible to do it online considering all of the platforms that are available, but also there would be an experience that would be robbed. This is how I felt. Like there would be an experience of actually being there physically together and being able to look into her eyes and to actually hear her response, and for me to actually stutter in front of her when I'm asking her out and shake and everything. But I'm just like, my patience was running out. I really tried to be patient. I'm like, you know what? I've seen weddings over Zoom, I'm sure. So I was speaking with her sister because she was trapped in Makueni, because here in Kenya as well they had a lockdown. She was trapped in Makueni. Right. So I couldn't go with the friends that I had in Nairobi to organize everything. So I was like, Ruth, she's a sister, I'm like, I need your help. This needs to happen. I need to organize teddies, I need to organize decorations, balloons. I want it, as much as I'm not going to be there, I would like for it to be an experience still. So Ruth was very keen, and also one of her friends that also really played a massive role in getting that to happen. And initially I wanted it to be on my birthday that I asked her out, but her sister was working on my birthday, so that wasn't possible. So I'm like, okay, next day it's alright. And that happened, and but on my birthday, so the night before I asked her out that evening, she was asking about if it had crossed my mind to think about going straight in a relationship online. And in my head, I'm thinking to myself, oh no.
She knows.
Somebody else told her.
Somebody told her. And I'm trying to again divert every idea. I'm just like, yeah, I thought about it a while back. I don't think it's nice. I'm not sure about how I feel about it, so I wouldn't want to do it. And then she responded and she was just like, yeah, no, I don't think I would have agreed if somebody had done that.
Oh, like, oh.
And now literally that was my reaction. I was like, wait a minute, Ben, you just shoot yourself in the foot. Because what happens if tomorrow you ask her and she's just like, nope, I'm out. And I was stressing. I'm like, you know what? Plans are in place. Let's just go eat. And I took my shot. And I think she was surprised and a bit under shock by the time I asked her that she took some time to respond. I don't know if it was 5 seconds. I don't know if it was 10 minutes.
You had to just beat it.
Or was it the lag? The Zoom lag, you know?
I don't even know if it was lag. It certainly was like an eternity for me. I was just like, oh snap. I should just hang up the call right now and walk away before she just says no. But she said yes, which was great. I had a heart attack, guys. I won't.
Oh wow.
But she said yes, and yeah, that's what happened, and yeah, here we are.
How did you feel?
Sweet.
Well, it was, my emotions were all over the place. First, I would have loved for him to be here and ask me in person. And yeah, Ben is crazy. So when I was asking that question, I knew there was possibility. So I was fighting in my head. Well, I love this man. I wouldn't say no, but why would he put me in that position? I wouldn't want to be like so. At night, I had those conversations. I'm like, it's okay. It's not like he doesn't want to come. It's because of the situation. So if it ever happens, I'll just say yes because I love the guy. So yeah, I was so shocked. I was so shocked. I think the next morning I was a bit relaxed and I was spending time with my sister's friend. Yeah, when I came in the house, everything was set up. I was taking everything in. I've never been that shocked. It was really a nice experience having my friends on the Zoom and yeah, and they said yes. I said yes because why not? Yeah.
When a person gets into their feelings, man, they don't think first.
So our values were in line, you know. We love serving together.
Wow.
Are you crying?
Such an emotional story. Wow. And I think, you guys have mentioned key things that I'd like maybe, if we have the time, we can actually talk about it. You've mentioned a youth camp, you've mentioned, praying about it, and, a lot of friends that have been able to walk you through this journey as Christian courtship, let me just say it that way, for Christian dating. And I know there are some things that there are boundaries that you do not cross, obviously, but how has it been like just trying, journeying through these waters? I think it has been quite an interesting journey for you too.
Yeah. And also I think given the fact that it's long distance, how does that play into, how do you guys make that work?
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I do not know where to start. But I think the right place to start is that not just for long distance relationship, but with any relationship, you need to have a strong support group. In the sense that you need to have people that are going to keep you level-headed, people that are going to keep you accountable, and people that are going to be able to tell you if you're being crazy or if you are swimming deeper than you can swim, or that you are trying to eat more than you can stomach. You really need people that are going to be able to sit you down and tell you the truth of what it is that what you're thinking of here is not going to work. How to do this way, or don't go that route, because the Bible says the heart is deceitful above all things. Who can understand it? When a person gets into their feelings, man, they don't think first, and this is
to be honest, is one of my, besides it being a natural human issue, it's for the longest time has been a big issue for me as an individual, in the sense that I act first, then stop, then think, whereby it should be the opposite. It should be think, act, stop. I mean, stop, think, act. But I would do act, stop, think. And by the time you get to the thinking stage, you've already acted, and there's already things in motion, and now you need to start doing some damage control, whereby you can completely avoid that altogether. So it is important to have people that will help you to stop, think, then act. So that's the first thing. Now, to move on with the question, I think how to make the relationship work from a long distance perspective. First, you need a lot of intentionality, because you don't have, the setting does not allow for you to be as casual as normal people would be. You need a lot of intentionality, because the person that you love is far away from you. You need to make sure that they feel the love, even though you're not there to personally express it. Yes, you can say I love you, but again, people are different. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with this, but then there's a book by Gary Chapman called The Five Languages of Love. Five Love Languages.
Yes.
That one.
Accurate.
And that book is very amazing in the sense that it will help you to realize that people really are different. And what it means for you to express love might not be how the next person understands love. And in a long distance setting, that book becomes very pivotal, because you really need to speak the other person's love language. And if you don't know what it is, you'll be doing all of these crazy efforts, and it's just going above their head, going above their heart. All your efforts are pointless. So it's important to know that. It's important to know communication is key. I know in my excuses when I was trying to run, I did say that I'm not a good communicator. And in a long distance relationship, that would be really, it would be a deal breaker. Whether or not you appreciate communication, but the fact that you are far away from the person and you can't communicate well, anything and everything can be misinterpreted, whether you want it or not. So alongside with that, very crucial part of communication is openness. One thing that we often try to be, that we have said to ourselves, that we heard from one of the sermons that we've listened to, is that we need to be hot, in the sense that we need to be honest, open and transparent in our relationship. And that is very important in not only long distance but in any relationship. Because the more honest you are with one another, the more it's going to bring the trust. And the more you trust one another, somebody will come and tell you, I saw Ben with somebody walking at that place at that time, but because you know Ben, you're going to be like, yeah, something probably was happening. And also, in you being transparent, chances are Ben had already told Faith that, yeah, he was just going to that place and that person is so. It leaves no room for any misunderstanding, it leaves no room for any issues really, because the more open you are with one another, and really, one thing that people need to understand is that we are all human. In relationships, I know many a time people try to put their best foot forward and try to conceal their flaws. And whether you want it or not, it's going to end up coming to bite you in the end, because by the time there will come a time where you can't keep up with the act, and you come out for who you really are, and then it's an issue. So yeah, that is all under communication. Obviously there is a lot more, and you could be spending hours on this. I'm just trying to compress as much as I can. But also intentionality. Doing the same thing again and again is going to become mundane. It's going to become boring. You need to find new ways to be creative, new ways to do things. You can do the same thing that you're doing, but because you're doing it differently, you're going to be like, oh, I never thought about it that way. For instance, in our case, one of the ways that we spend time is through Zoom and WhatsApp calls and house party and Telegram. And with all of these apps, there is limited stuff that you can do in general. But how you turn that limited stuff to make it different from one day to the other makes a whole new difference, because it's a whole new experience of the same thing that you've already done, but it brings out a lot, but also it shows the next person that you care, that you're trying to connect as much as you can. And then when you get to be in the same space like we are now, I think it's also very important to continue with the same pattern. It's not now because we are in the same space that I'm going to start doing weird things that I wouldn't do when I'm away. It's not because she can see that it's... No, be yourself, through and through. Whether it's a romantic relationship or not, that's a constant. Always be yourself. And then, lastly, something that I would like to address is, in your openness, you really need to ask the tough questions. In the sense that, of course, as much as you may be in a relationship, you still want to be able to protect one another. You want to be able to protect one another's spirit. You want to be able to protect one another's emotion. There needs to be a great level of emotional purity, intentional purity, and moral purity. And in order for you to do that, ask the question. Because something that may be simple for you might not be simple for the other person. For instance, I am huge on physical touch. That's my love language. But she may not be the same for her, or in whoever's case it is. So before you just ask the question. For instance, I'm a big on physical touch. It's my official default love language. However, the way I express my love can be a stumbling block for the next person. So I can't just go on and be like, do things that I would do, for instance, with other people. I need to be considerate, but I also need to be able to ask someone and figure out, if I had my hand around you, for instance, how would you feel? Would that make you struggle? Because at the end of the day, we are trying to protect one another. We are trying to really care. We need to care for one another's purity. And another thing really is seeking advice, because again, there could be some stuff that could be very logical to you in your mind, but when the moment you tell it to somebody else, you're just like, wait, is that really something you're thinking of doing? And it has happened to me a number of times. I've got my closest friend will tell you how many times they have had to sit me down and be like, what you're thinking about is not a good idea. And another thing is that you really need to be humble to also take the advice. Seek the advice, take the advice, and remember to put God at the center. It is very vital to any relationship. It's vital between families, romantic, any relationship. God being at the center is extremely vital. I don't know if they want to add anything.
Wow. Hey, this conversation has been so intense. Now, I think to try and lighten the things at Faith, you know, he's an awesome brother. That one we have seen and we know. Lakini, but you know, you left some of us here in Kenya.
You've broken up your hearts in Nairobi.
Yeah, so I don't know what made you connect with Ben.
Well, Ish, putting him on the spotlight. So, well, I didn't leave you guys. It's, if I may say that, I've had crushes. I've liked brothers here in Nairobi, but really the connection that I had with Ben was very different. Of course, with other brothers. One thing, we both love serving. So our values were in line, you know. We love serving together. I like the fact I like someone who is very straightforward, and he came through. He came through very straight. I remember we were having a conversation before or after we knew it was mutual, and he was like, or before, I don't know, but he was very straight on. If your relationship with God is not good, then I'm out. So setting things straight as it is, I was like, yeah, this is someone who will not really depend on the guy for your spirituality, but you also need someone who will also help you, or will work with in that area, and you grow in that area. So that was one of it, putting God first. I think we share so much in common. There's service, we love having people around us. What else?
We enjoy having a good time. That's very important in every relationship. It's all about the fun as well.
So yeah, so I just mentioned 3.
Mm-hmm.
I saw him putting God first and how clear it was. That was very important to me. Our friendship, there was nothing like pretend. We were very real with each other at the very start. I really love that about our friendship at the first. Then the third thing, what did I say? There's God, there's open realness, and service.
Yes,
Serving, yeah, you really need to know your area of, like, what's your purpose? Is it in line with Him? Even if it's just 2, you guys will work it out. So those 3 were the main things.
Wow. Oh, how sweet. Apart from having that in common, you're twinning. Tell us a little bit about that. Whose idea was this? Can you see what's written? Show us.
Image
So,
bearer.
it says image bearer. So back in SA, I've got a couple of friends that have got this company that have registered that's called Seller, and they make clothing items. And the idea behind Seller is that in life you need to be able to reflect, pose, and praise. And as far as God's concerned, there are so many scriptures that remind us about God and how much He cares for us and how great God is. One of my very favorites is found in Romans 11 from verse 33 to 36. It's a doxology where Paul was speaking about how God brought in salvation, and he takes a pause and he just speaks about how great God is, how great is His wisdom, who has counseled God, who has given anything to God that God could repay him. And he speaks about, and the closing line of that section is that he says, for through Him and in Him and for Him are all things, forever, amen. And just that idea is something that I think everybody should be able to live out by. To remember that everything is really from God, everything is for God, and everything is done through God. And as creation and as humans, already in the book of Genesis, it tells us that we are made in God's image. Therefore, we are the image bearers. Wherever we go, whoever we speak with, we need to be able to show and reflect the image that God has, the image of God. He created us so that we could reflect His love, reflect His care, reflect His desire to have everybody live in unity. The world right now it's in a mess. It really is in a mess. And to think about how easy it would be if we could just be able to love one another right. Another scripture that I go to all the times is Romans 12 verses 9 to 21, and it speaks about love in action. And literally all of my life, I always try to live out that scripture because it speaks about how sincere love is. It speaks about how, as far as it depends on us, we need to live at peace with everyone. It really lays out all that it means to live out love in practice. And if we could all have that mindset, we would all be able to be image bearers. And yeah, in short, that's.
Wow. Thank you. That is quite insightful and deep. And it's been so amazing having Faith and Ben here with us. Thank you so much for taking time out of your, we know you guys are hanging out, busy, but thank you so much for taking time to speak to us, enlighten us. I personally have learned so much. And I wish we could have you here more often. We'll figure it out. I know with technology, it's not so hard to figure out. But thank you for your vulnerability, for your smiles, and just being image bearers, truly.
Yeah.
So yes.
So
thank you so much.
Yeah. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. And share, comment, your thoughts on everything that we've discussed here. And if you want to also be part of this segment, you can always reach out to us.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.